Welcome to this video where we will be learning about the legendary Saiva Saint Kungkuliya Kalayar. He hailed from the town of Thirukadavur, shown here in the map. In today's world, Thirukadavur is also known as Thirukadayur and is situated near the eastern coast of Tamil Nadu, approximately 15 kilometers east of Mayiladuthurai and 15 kilometers north of Karaikal. Kungkuliya Kalayar lived during the 7th century in the Common Era. His annual Guru Puja, the day he attained Mukti, is annually celebrated on the Moolam Nakshatram of the Tamil month of Avani, which is usually from mid-August to mid-September. 35 songs in the Periya Puranam, the 12th Thirumurai, which is written by Circular Swamigal, are dedicated to Kungkuliya Kalayar's life story. Now we know a few details about Kungkuliya Kalayar Nayanar, let's learn a bit more about his story. The holy town of Thirukadavur in the Chola kingdom was the birthplace of Kungkuliya Kalayar Nayanar. The lord of this town has the name Amarthakadeswarar as a result of an incident involving Lord Ganesha and the Devas. Lord Ganesha, who has the name of Kallavarana Pillayar in this holy site, playfully took a pot of nectar away from the Devas as punishment, as they had ignorantly started consuming the nectar without offering prayers to Pillayar, the form of the Lord, who is prayed to and thanked before starting any auspicious endeavour, as he is the remover of obstacles. When the Devas realised their mistake, offered prayers to Pillayar and received their pot of nectar back, they placed the pot on the ground. Such was the Lord's will that the pot became immovable and had transformed into a Sivalingam. Thus, even today, this Sivalingam is referred to as the Amrthalingam. This Sivalingam is at the centre of the story of Markandeya too, the blessed boy who worshipped this Sivalingam intensely and defied death at the age of 16. The goddess of the town is called Abhirami Amman, a great devotee of the Divine Mother by the name of Abhirami Pattar sang a series of wonderful songs entitled Nambiyandar, which elaborates on the glories of the Divine Mother. So pleased was Abhirami Amman that in order to save Abhirami Pattar from the fury of the king at the time, Saraboji I, which was caused by Abhirami Pattar mistakenly insisting on stating that that particular day was a full moon day and not a new moon day, even though in reality it really was a new moon day. That Abhirami Amman actually changed it from a new moon day to a full moon day. From these instances, which happened before and after Kungkuliya Kalayar Nayanar's lifetime, we can understand the holiness of this legendary town. In this holy town, where vibrant red lilies grew around cooling areas of water, where areca palm trees grew and painted the local skyline, and where the Vedas were regularly chanted, Kalayar was born as a Brahmin and got his name Kungkuliya Kalayar as he was always holding a pot of incense, Kungkuliyam, in his hand. For him, burning incense in front of Lord Shiva was the best service one could do. This was an act he would do consistently with full concentration and dedication. Lord Shiva himself was very pleased with Kungkuliya Kalayar's pure devotion. In order for the world to realise this blessed soul's glories, he wanted to test him. By the Lord's will, Kungkuliya Kalayar became very poor. He was forced to sell all his property and his family were starving. Even in such a troublesome time like this, he did not sway from his incense-burning service to the Lord. One day, Kungkuliya Kalayar's wife realized they had nothing left to sell in order to get food for their children and the rest of their family who were starving, apart from her sacred thali, which was on her neck. Even though it is considered inauspicious to remove it while the husband is still alive, she felt she had no choice in the present circumstances and dutifully gave it to her husband so that he could get some food in exchange for it to feed the family. Kungkuliya Kalayar received it willingly and journeyed to the market. It was then that the all-merciful Sivanaar himself appeared in the guise of a marketplace vendor in front of Kungkuliya Kalayar and stated that he was selling incense of very good quality. Upon hearing the word incense, Kungkuliya Kalayar forgot what he came for and quickly bought some incense for the price of his wife's mangalyam and immediately set off to the temple to burn the incense in front of the Lord. Kungkuliya Kalayar's wife waited patiently at home, and as night time came, she put the children to sleep and continued praying to the Lord. The Lord, who was highly pleased with the pure devotion of this couple, appeared in her dream that night and blessed her with all the wealth. To her astonishment, when she woke up, she found all types of wealth in their house. She sang the Lord's glories, immediately prepared a nice meal and waited for her husband's return. After blessing Kungkuliya Kalayar's wife, the Lord shared his divine instructions with his dear devotee, Kungkuliya Kalayar. He said, "You are very hungry. Kindly go to your great house and there you can have rice and milk and be rid of your misery." Only after hearing this, Kungkuliya Kalayar became aware of his worldly surroundings, for he was fully engaged in the service of the Lord. He thus returned to his house and was amazed to see it transformed by the grace of the Lord. Sivanadiyars had also assembled in the house in large numbers, and they all sang the glories of the Lord. Kungkuliya Kalayar Nayanar treated all the wealth the Lord had blessed him with as the property of all the Sivanadiyars and served them with it. One day, Kungkuliya Kalayar wished to visit the temple at Thiruvanthaathi, where the Lord of the temple is known as Aeyntha. Using this journey as a great opportunity, Kungkuliya Kalayar visited many of the Lord's shrines on the way. Kalayar wanted to visit Thiruvanthaathil's Aeyntha as he wanted to help remove the king's sadness at the time, which was caused by his inability to make the Sivalingam, which was physically bent at the time, straight again, despite great efforts. So why was this Sivalingam not upright in the first place? Tadahe, a great devotee of the Lord, worshipped that Sivalingam regularly. One day, after her worship, she wished to offer a garland and place it around the Sivalingam. As she lifted the garland with both her hands, the cloth she wore began to slip, and in order to prevent it slipping any further, she held it using her elbows. As a result of this, she could not raise her hands further. The compassionate Lord understood this and leant to one side so that it was easier to accept the garland. Since that day, many people had tried to pull the Sivalingam back so that it stood straight, including the king's army and elephants. But they all failed in all of their attempts. The king of the place was upset as a result of this situation, and when Kungkuliya Kalayar Nayanar heard of the king's sadness, he stepped forward to offer his help. In order to accomplish this task, he tied the Sivalingam to his neck with a rope decorated with flowers, the rope of God love. And with great devotion and faith, he pulled the rope with great effort. The all-merciful Sivanaar accepted his dear devotees' selfless and love-filled intentions. To everyone's amazement, the Sivalingam became upright, and the Devas showered flowers from the heavens. Everyone present, including the king, recognized the glory of Kungkuliya Kalayar and the purity of his devotion towards the Lord, and paid their respects towards this great Sivanadiyar. After spending a few days here, Kungkuliya Kalayar returned to his hometown of Thirukadavur and continued his great service towards the all-loving Lord. It was during these days that the legendary child saint Thiruñana Sambandar, who was given the milk of wisdom, Jnanam, by the Divine Mother herself, and the amazing Tirunavukkarasar, who was given that name by the all-loving Sivanaar himself, were visiting Thirukadavur. These two divine individuals would later not only be hailed as two of the 63 Nayanmars alongside Kungkuliya Kalayar, but would also be included as two of the 4 Samayakuravars, for the list of their heroic and selfless deeds which they were able to perform with the Lord's grace for the betterment of mankind are truly endless. They, along with many others, played a massive part in protecting the Saiva way of life and helped it survive through excruciating and testing eras of time. When these two amazing devotees of the Lord were visiting Kungkuliya Kalayar's hometown, Kungkuliya Kalayar thanked the Lord before graciously welcoming both divine individuals into his home. There, he was able to serve a delicious feast for these loving Sivanadiyars, a feast which encapsulated all 6 important tastes, Arusuvai. This way, Kungkuliya Kalayar lived a life of devotion and continued to love the all-loving Lord through his each and every action every day, until he himself reached the eternally blissful shade of Sivanaar's lotus feet. Kungkuliya Kalayar's wonderful life and glories have been immortalized by many wonderful saints, including Sundarar of the 8th century in the Common Era, Nambiyandar Nambi of the 11th century in the Common Era, and Swamigal of the 12th century in the Common Era.
Ilaimalintha Vaelnampi Arivatha Kadiyaen Eenaadinaadan Adiyarkum Adiyen Kalaimalintha Seer Nambi Kannappat Kadiyaen Kadavurit Kalayandran Adiyarkum Adiyen Malaimalintha Thol Vallan Manakkanjaran Enjada Vattayan Adiyarkum Adiyen Ilaimalintha Punal Mangayanaaya Kadiyaen Aaruran Aarurilammanakare. ஏய்ந்த கயிறுதன் கண்டத்தில் பூட்டி எழில் சாய்ந்த சிவன் நிலைத்தாடன்பல் காதலி தாலி கொடுத்து ஆய்ந்த குங்குலியங்கொண்டு அனல் புகை காலனை காய்ந்த அரட்கிட்ட தென் கடவுரில் கலையனை. கருப்புவில் லோனாய் கூற்றை காய்ந்தவர் கடவுர் மன்னி விருப்புறும் அன்பு மேன்மேல் மிக்கழும் வேட்கை கூற ஒருபடும் உள்ளத்தன்மை உண்மையால் தமக்கு நேர்ந்த திருப்பணி பலவும் செய்து சிவபத நிழலில் சேர்ந்தார்.
All hail the legendary Kungkuliya Kalayar Nayanar.